Okay, it's time to cut the tenons for the mortise and tenon joint. You already saw me cut the mortises. Now I'm going to do the tenon. And the way I'm going to do that is I've installed this dado blade into my table saw. Now the dado blade is 3/8 of an inch wide and standing 1/4 inch tall. And this piece of wood here is the test piece. I'm going to run it through and I'm going to shave out 1/4 inch on the bottom and 1/4 inch on top. Now I have a fence here, and I'm actually going to move this fence, and I'm going to move it back to there so that as I push the piece through, the fence stays behind and there's room in here so that I don't get binding and kickback. And I'll run this piece through, see how it fits. I still have to take a little bit off up here and down here in order to get it to fit perfectly. But for now, I just want to check the thickness of the tenon. Let's see how that's done. That's it. That's a tenon. And as I said, I still have to trim a 1/2 inch up here and a 1/2 inch down here. But the idea is to just see if this will fit into the piece. And I can see that it's loose. That means I have my blade too tall, and that's why we run test pieces. So I'll reset this and do it again. The reason why it's 1.25 inches tall is the mortise is that deep. So I want it to fit all the way down with a little bit of room for glue. But I'll continue to fine tune this before I cut my final pieces. So I spent the last few minutes making adjustments. The fit that I want is what's known as a slip fit. A little bit of friction, but still enough room for the glue. And this is what a tenon looks like. Let me bring it up close to you. Now you can see that it's a little deeper here than it is here, and that's okay. That's just for cosmetic reasons. When I go to fit it into the mortise, this is the distance I'm concerned about, and that's here. So what we're looking for is a slip fit, and it goes something like this. And there you go. And that's a really strong joint. And the other thing about it is there's a lot of glue surface on there too, and glue is really what is going to hold this together. If I pull it out, there'll be glue all in here, all around here, on the face, both sides, and of course in the mortise itself. And you can see that's a real tight fit. Now, not every mortise that I cut, no matter how I tried, not every one is exactly the same. So when I do this and I start doing all of the rails, I'll pay very close attention to which one goes where, because I'm going to have to make final adjustments, whether it's a little bit of working with the chisel, whether it's a rasp, whatever I need to get it to fit snug, a slip fit, but not really tight. And then when I'm done, I'm going to drill a couple of holes here, and I'm going to put wooden dowels in there, kind of peg it. Now that's really not what's holding it together. What's holding it together is this joint, this mortise and tenon. But the pegging of it is, again, reminiscent of something that was built on the farm. So I took the time to set this up. Now I can run all of my stock through and then take my time and make each one fit, each tenon fit the appropriate mortise, and I'll mark them as I go. And I'll do that off camera because that's going to take some time. But we're almost done. After this, we'll do the glue up, the pegging of the dowels, and then we're ready for stain. Some final sanding too, always with the sanding. Been busy and haven't been taking a lot of videos. That's the skirt all glued up. Now I have put dowels in two sides. I still have two sides to put dowels in, and that's more decorative. But what I need to do now is, if I do nothing and leave it just like this, there really isn't a lot of force being applied to keeping this square. In other words, if I pick it up and I go to carry it through the door, it's going to rack and be out of square, and that'll also loosen the joints. So I've been spending a little bit of time making corner blocks just like this, and these corner blocks are going to, as the name implies, sit into the corner like that. And that provides a little bit of structure to prevent the base from racking. I'm going to glue this up and nail it in, and the base will be done except for priming and sanding. Just a couple of things to show you. If you look closely, you'll see on the inside of the long rail, I've cut what's known as is nothing more than a channel. I've done it on both sides. And what I will do when the time comes is I will make wood clips that will fit and come as high as this, and then the top rail, and then I will screw from the bottom up into the tabletop, and that is the only mechanical fastener that will be in this table, is the screw holding the top on. I've also put a small detail on the outside, and this is going to be just a light groove all the way around. And again, this isn't something you would necessarily find on a farm table, but it is just a nice little detail to dress everything up. You'll notice that the color of the legs and the rails are different, and there's really not a whole lot I can do about that. The rails are Knotty Pine and the legs are Douglas fir. The one good thing is that all of the legs are the same color, so it'll be more or less an accent piece when I put the stain on. And to be honest with you, that's the part that I'm actually concerned about, is the stain. Staining soft wood is difficult. It can be very blotchy and streaky. So we'll talk about that when the time comes. But for now, let me get back to work.